Welcome, shiverlings, to my domain. I am, of course, Pagan, your mistress of the macabre, here to guide you through the shadows of the unknown. Tonight, we delve into the depths of terror with tales sent in by you, my faithful viewers. This footage was taken directly from my Twitch stream, so be warned that it might not be as clean as you might hope it to be. That said, if you have an experience or a story that you would like to share, please feel free to submit it to me. It's super easy. All you have to do is send me an email. Instructions for that are in the description below. Well then, my darlings, without further ado, let's get into the letters. Vassago, from Mistletoe. I was raised Jewish, but left the faith to be pagan. Good for you. Good for you. Love pagans. Love me some pagans. This is important because, in Judaism, we know not all demons are evil. You know, I have heard that. I have heard that. I do have that understanding of the Jewish view of demons. Not all of them are necessarily evil. When Hashem cast down the angels with free will, all the legions and legions serving under those who fell with them, rebellious or not. And they're as diverse as humans. Some are good, some evil, most in between. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that you're giving us this summary, this setup. It's really important. So I appreciate that. Thank you. In fact, in Judaism, what separates demons from angels isn't alignment or devotion to Hashem. It's whether they are robot or have freedom of thought and action. Okay, so we have this diametrically opposed, like, are you mindless or do you have free thought and action? I like that. Okay. So when I changed my religion to explore paganism, that's the lens I'm looking at the world through. I explored lists of deities, angels, spirits, and fallen angels or demons. Some caught my eye and resonated with me, and I memorized their names and stories. I meditated and consulted oracles, put out my intention, and waited. Oh boy. I don't like the sound of that. You know how they say, you know, that Ouija boards are kind of, you know, dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, because you're just kind of like throwing out an open invitation to anything and anyone that's around there. This is what I'm kind of sensing. Like, if this were a horror story that I was writing, this would definitely be the moment where I'd say, this is the moment when he knew he fucked up. In the meantime, I got into a long-distance relationship. I got us matching pins with special connotations to us. We wore them like promise rings all the time, everywhere. That's cute. That's cute. That's adorable. I really like that. One day, it was just gone. I turned the entire house upside down, room by room, searching everywhere. I was a light wind away from breaking down into tears. Oh no. You lost your promise, like, your promise pin. Oh, that's so sad. Then I remembered a demon I'd read about, kind disposition, ruler and revealer of all things lost and hidden, named Vassago. So I called out to them, Vassago, please help me find my pin. Plick, crash. A vase across the room from me, where all windows were closed and I was standing stock still, all but jumped off the end table it was on, rolling underneath. Oh my gosh. All right, so you've lost your promise pin and you're upset, you're in a high emotional state, you're calling out for help. You call something by name, asking for help, and in the middle of you calling and asking Vassago for help, a vase just goes flying across the bloody room. Listen, I respect all beliefs and your views of things, but I can tell you, at times when you are the most vulnerable, the most emotional, or the last times that you ever want to be calling out to anything ever, most of the time, because that's how bad things happen. Keep your emotions in check. I don't remember what rule we're on when it comes to our rules, but one of our rules definitely needs to be keep your emotions in check. I sighed in frustration. I went on my hands and knees and crawled down to pick it up. And there, pinned neatly to the side of the couch, an inch off the floor, like it had been placed there with purpose, was my pin. My first thought? Message received. Wow! Alright, so Vassago found your pin, stuck it in the side of the couch, and then threw a vase to let you know it was over there. Why wouldn't he just throw the pin at you? Seems like that would be more helpful. I don't know. I'm not a demon, am I? I'm not a demon. I've been working with Vassago for about a decade now. I found things deeply hidden and revealed them to the correct people. I carry knowledge with me and am frequently called on to reveal it to those who need to know at key moments. I've been pointed purposefully at specific objects and told to barter, buy, or otherwise pick up them, sometimes holding on to them for years, to be given back to the people who'd lost them, sometimes decades before I found them. That sounds really interesting, and I would love to hear in some more detail some of these items that, like, you've purchased elsewhere. Like, just you felt the need to buy this item, to pick it up, to buy it, barter it, trade it, take it home with you, and to, like, hold on to it. I would love to hear about what some of those items are, what it was like picking them up when you found them, and then also what it was like to find the person who had lost it years later. It sounds like some weird kind of, like, crossing of fate, and I really like that. I think that's really, really interesting. I want more information. I'm requesting more details about this. My life has become a densely packed string of coincidences, in the heaviest of quotes here, and I don't get to directly talk about my patron very often, because they freak people out by their nature. I think they prefer to work from the shadows through me, or people like me, and that's just those who would believe me in the first place. So I don't get to talk about this much, but I can talk about it here. Demons exist. They're very, very real, but not all of them are bad. Just be very specific. If you work with them, promise them nothing you wouldn't willingly and joyfully gift. Just like dealing with the fair folk. Be careful. Yes, absolutely right. When dealing with anything, and anyone, whether even if it's just like a person, you know, like, it doesn't have to be a supernatural being or creature, it doesn't have to be a demon or a fairy. When dealing with anyone, never promise anything that, one, you can't deliver, and two, that you wouldn't willingly and happily give them, expecting nothing in return. That's how you get into problems. That's how you find yourself in all kinds of issues. This is good. Don't write checks your butt can't cash. Don't write checks your butt can't cash. That's another rule. We've got to add that to the list. We've got to expand this list a little bit. Be careful. They're not to be called on lightly, but they can help when you need. Stay spooky out there. Mistletoe. Thank you. Thank you. I absolutely love this letter. Really, really interesting. I know that from the Jewish perspective, not all demons are evil. And I feel like there's another word to describe them, but it just escapes me right now. But I do know, and I've heard from people of a lot of other faiths, and also some own personal experiences of mine, that, you know, there are definitely helpful things out there, but you don't want to piss off things that you know, maybe aren't so helpful, or things that are helpful and they turn less helpful. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But thank you for that story. I really, really like that one. Parking Lot Apparition. Sent in by Giggly Gorilla. I make myself laugh with these names. Hi there. I'm a contracted security guard, dedicated to ensuring the safety and security for a well-known DIY supply store. My job involves sitting in my car in the parking lot, watching for any suspicious activity, and ensuring that customers leave the store peacefully with only items that they actually paid for, if you get what I mean. I very much do. I very much do. I actually know someone in a personal capacity that for a while did the same sort of thing. You mention a DIY store, and so I can only assume that it's probably like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something similar to that. And that's exactly what a friend of mine used to do. And his job was to be there to make certain that people weren't stealing stuff. Because for a while there, like, people would just walk in with a cart, load it up with stuff, and then just walk out the store, and nobody could stop them. So they had to have, like, external security that wasn't part of their, like, actual, like, sales team that didn't actually work for the company. So I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you do. All right, this should be good. Most nights are pretty uneventful, but every now and then, something out of the ordinary happens, keeping me on my toes. Overall, I take pride in my work and do my best, even if now the laws say I can't do anything other than take pictures and phone the police. That's definitely frustrating. If that's like your only role as loss prevention, that's really frustrating. And I hamstring you like that. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. It was a typical night, and I was parked in my usual spot, keeping an eye on the store's exit. Most nights were uneventful, but this night was different. It was a quiet night, and there were only a few cars left in the lot as the store was about to close. I first noticed the figure as I was scanning the area near the edge of the parking lot. It was standing near the edge, close to where the parking lot meets the street. At first, I thought it was just a person, but as I looked closer, I could see that it was translucent, almost like a ghost. It was standing completely still, just staring in my direction. The sight sent a chill down my spine, and I couldn't look away. Nope. Nope. In this case, good, don't look away. If you make eye contact with something, you don't look away. You've got to mean mug it. You've got to stare it down. Pretend to be a pit bull, just stare it down. Plant your feet, square your shoulders, stare it down and wait for it to leave. It just stood there, motionless, staring in my direction. It was as if it was watching me, but it didn't make any sudden movements or gestures. It was an eerie sight, and it left me feeling unsettled and unsure of what to do next. After what felt like an eternity, the figure slowly started to fade away, disappearing into the night. I was still in shock, trying to process what I had just seen. I couldn't explain it, and part of me didn't want to believe it. Believe it! Believe it! Don't doubt yourself! Don't doubt yourself! Don't gaslight yourself! Don't gaslight yourself! You saw what you saw. And that's the end of that. I sat there for a while, scanning the area to see if the figure would reappear. It was gone. Eventually, I gathered my thoughts and just focused on the end of my night at work. But that figure still lingers in my mind. Yeah, it would linger in my mind as well. I still think a lot of the time about things that I have seen. And just every once in a while, you kind of recall it because it's creepy, it's weird, it's spooky. I really wish that you had given me more detail about what it looked like other than it was like translucent, you know, like, because I want to picture this myself. I don't know if it looked like it was male or female. I don't know if it even looked like a human. You kind of just said it was a figure. Was it in the shape of an animal? You know, could you make out any clothing? Was it tall? Was it short? Was it fat? Was it thin? Did it have 4 legs? Did it have 12 legs? I don't know. And I wish that I did. I wish that I did, because I want to picture this. You know, I need to know. I need to know. But even so, you're just out in the middle of the night looking at the parking lot. You see this figure off in the distance, and you think it's just a person maybe standing around, staring it down, whatever. And as you look closer, you realise it's actually translucent and you can see through it. Not an Animal at the Zoo by Sassy Squid. I'm a zookeeper at the Riverside Zoo. And yes, I changed the name of the zoo, so no worries. Thank you. I appreciate that. You must have seen some previous streams or some previous videos. Because I've mentioned a couple of times where people are like naming where they work, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a fake name or not. I really hope it is. Because I have no way to know. So I appreciate the fact that you changed the name, and you also let me know that you changed the name. This is how I can tell you're an actual fan. And let me just say, Sassy Squid, I appreciate you. I've been working here for about 5 years now, mainly on the night shift. It's a peaceful time to be at the zoo, with most of the visitors gone and the animals settling down for the night. Yeah, I've never thought about what it might be like to be at the zoo at night. You know, like, I love being places that are normally like really busy, that, you know, they're no longer busy anymore. You know, like you go to a shopping mall or something and it's really late at night and it's just empty. That feeling, love that feeling. But I never considered what it would be like in a situation where you're never actually alone, right? You'd have all of these animals around. And for the most part, I mean, I don't know anything about Riverside Zoo, but I know the zoos that I've been to, it's not just like sheep and alpacas, you know, like harmless little animals. No, the zoos that I've been to, they have like lions and tigers and polar bears and crocodiles and stuff like that. So being alone at night in a zoo that has animals like that, it probably is pretty interesting. On the night shift, my duties as a zookeeper are a bit different from those during the day. While the daytime keepers focus on interacting with visitors and ensuring the animals are healthy and well cared for, my role is more about monitoring and maintaining the zoo after hours. Alright, that makes sense. Makes sense. One of my main responsibilities is to check on the animals throughout the night. I make sure they have enough food and water, that their enclosures are secure, and that they're comfortable. Okay, so now we know. Now we know. The next time we hear about an animal escaping from a zoo, you know, like a tiger got out of his enclosure or a honey badger escaped, we now know. We blame the night staff at the zoo. Sassy Squid has told us they're the ones for making sure that like the locks and the fences and everything in their enclosures are secure. So if we have a Jurassic Park type situation, we blame Sassy Squid, right? Blame Sassy Squid. I also keep an eye out for any signs of illness or distress and report any issues to the daytime keepers. I also do regular patrols of the zoo grounds to ensure everything is secure and there are no safety hazards. This includes checking fences, gates and locks to make sure everything is in working order. I also keep an eye out for any unusual activity or signs of intruders. Yep, nailed it. Hecking nailed it. Sassy Squid. The Jurassic Park situation, that's going to be on you, mate. It's going to be on you, mate. You better make sure that those locks and everything are tip-top shape. Tip-top shape. I'll come after you. Not that I know where Riverside Zoo is, but just hashtag blame Sassy Squid. That's what's going to happen. I swear it'll be like 2 years from now, and some animal is going to escape from some zoo somewhere, and I'm just going to retweet the article and just say hashtag blame Sassy Squid. And nobody's going to remember what I'm talking about, but I will, and I'll feel vindicated. Another important part of my job is to monitor the zoo's security cameras. We have cameras placed throughout the zoo to keep an eye on the animals and ensure their safety. I keep an eye out for any unusual behaviour or signs of trouble, and I can quickly respond if needed. Alright, so basically, you're less of like an animal tamer. You don't like work with the animals too much. For the most part, like, it's your job to almost act kind of like a security guard, right? You do your rounds, you make sure everything's good, the locks are working, everything's in good shape, good order, and you do double check, make sure, you know, that like the animals have food and water, and there's no problems with the animals. But for the most part, it sounds like you're like the security guy at night, basically. If I'm wrong in that, I apologise. That's just what I'm getting from your letter. Like, that's kind of like the majority of your job. Overall, my job on the night shift is to ensure the safety and well-being of the animals and the zoo itself. It's quiet and peaceful time to be at the zoo, and I take pride in knowing that I play a crucial role in keeping everything running smoothly, even when most people are asleep. That's great. That's great. I love when people like their jobs and have pride in what they do. That's wonderful to hear. I'm happy for you. I love that for you. I've had my fair share of strange encounters here, but there's one that sticks out in my mind. That comes from my first couple of weeks here, when I started working the night shift after being on days for training. All right, hold on. I have to pause. How dare you? How dare you tell me I've had my fair share of strange encounters here, but I'm only going to tell you about this one. Tell me about the others. I want to know the others. I want to know them all. Sassy Squid, send me more emails. I want to know more. I want to know more. Tell me about your other experiences. I don't just want the one. I want them all. I used to see this older guy around the zoo, always wearing the classic zookeeper uniform. He seemed to know his way around the place and was always willing to lend a hand if I needed help with something. I didn't see him often, and our conversations were usually brief, but he was friendly enough. I just assumed that he was a senior zookeeper who worked different hours than me. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no! No! Please tell me that what I think is about to happen is not what's about to happen. Please. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. No, we're just gonna plug along. Despite our conversations being short, he was always helpful whenever I saw him, and would offer me advice and share little tidbits of information about the animals or the zoo that I found useful. For example, one night I was struggling to get a stubborn lock off one of the enclosures to open. He appeared out of nowhere and showed me a little trick to get it to unlock. Another time, he told me about a shortcut through the zoo that I could take to save time on my rounds. He also shared stories about the history of the zoo and some of the animals that used to live there. It was clear that he had a deep love and knowledge of the zoo, which made his insights all the more valuable. Despite his helpfulness, he never lingered for long. He would offer his assistance and then quickly disappear off back to whatever duties he had on his own to attend to. I never really thought anything more of it than that. I mentioned the older guy to Sarah, one of the more experienced keepers here, during a casual conversation we were having about the zoo. I had just finished telling her about how helpful he had been to me during my night shifts, and I thought she might know him, since she had been at the zoo longer than I had. I described him as best as I could, mentioning his age, his uniform, and his friendly demeanour. But as I was talking, I noticed that Sarah's expression was changing, and she seemed to be getting more and more uneasy. When I finished describing him, she asked me to describe him again, which I found a bit odd. I repeated my description, and that's when she went pale and told me that the zookeeper I had been talking to had passed away a few years ago. Yep, that's exactly where I thought it was going. Yep. Friendly, helpful zookeeper ghost. I like that though. I like that. He's just helpful. He's just helpful. He just pops out when you need him. He's friendly. He chats. He says hello. He gives you tips. That's some dedication to the job. I really like that. I really like that. I was shocked and confused. I couldn't believe that I had been talking to a ghost all this time without even realising it. Sarah explained that the zookeeper I had been talking to fit the description of a former keeper who had been very dedicated to the zoo but had unfortunately passed away. It was a surreal moment for me, realising that the friendly face I had come to rely on was no longer alive. It also made me question my own sanity, as I had been having conversations with someone who wasn't there. Don't question your sanity. Don't question your sanity. Don't gaslight yourself. Is that one of our rules? I feel like it should be. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't try to rationalise your way out of it. Don't gaslight yourself. You saw what you saw. What happened. Leave it at that. Accept it. But Sarah reassured me that I wasn't crazy and that it was just a strange coincidence. Ah. Well, Sarah's part right. You're not crazy. I don't think you're crazy. I don't believe you're crazy. I definitely believe that this happened to you. You're not insane. After I had the revelation, I never saw the old guy again. Despite it being something that absolutely shakes the foundations of everything I used to believe, I actually miss him. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. Like, you get to see this happy, helpful little zookeeper. He pops out now and then. He's just helpful, he's just friendly, he's just there. And then once you find out he's dead, he's like, no, not me anymore. Oh no, the jig is up! The jig is up! He knows I'm a ghost! He knows the jig is up, I can't interact anymore. That's sad. That's so sad. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I would miss him too. He sounded lovely. Anyway, thanks for letting me share this, and I hope you get a ton more emails. Thank you. I do too. I love listening to these. Sassy squid. That's so sweet. That is so sweet. I also hope that I get more emails. Just as a reminder, if you have a story to send in, link on how to do that is in the chat right now, and also in the description box below when this goes out on YouTube. Send me your emails. Send me all of your emails. Park Ranger by Laughing Lynx. My name's Laughing Lynx, or at least it is now. Haha, you're welcome. I look forward to seeing what weird username you give me. I'm a park ranger at a remote national park. Oh, interesting. I've been working here for about 7 years now, and I love every minute of it. Good for you. Good for you. I love when people like their jobs. I like my job too. My main job is to ensure the safety of visitors, protect the wildlife, and preserve the natural beauty of the park. Sounds good. Sounds idyllic. Wait, so you just get to like hang out outside all the time? How do I get me one of those jobs? I'd like to just go hang out in the woods. My nightly routine typically starts around dusk. I make sure all the campers are settled in for the night and that their campfires are safely contained or extinguished. Then I do a final sweep of the park to make sure no one is out on the trails after dark and lost. After that, I head up to the fire watchtower to do my nightly check-ins. Oh my gosh. You legitimately have a job? You're like one of those people that lives in the fire watchtowers as a park ranger? I am jealous. Alright? I've always wanted to do that. Like, if I could somehow nail a job doing that, I would 100% go move out into a fire watchtower in the middle of the fucking woods, get myself some satellite like internet set up. I'd stream from there, and I'd just be like, this is it. This is the life right here. This is the life. All I want in this life is just a little cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Little garden, you know, that's all I want. Once I'm up in the tower, I use the radio to check in with the other rangers stationed around the park. We exchange any important information about the day and make sure everyone is accounted for. Good. Making sure we're all accounted for, like that. Then I settle in for the night, keeping an eye out for any signs of trouble or wildlife activity. That sounds like the best job in the world. I am genuinely so jealous. The tower is isolated, surrounded by dense forest, so it can get pretty eerie up there at night. I know, that's why I'm jealous. I would love to sit in an atmosphere like that and just write. Can you imagine the horror stories that I would write in that kind of atmosphere? Ha 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 ha. Must do. I've never been one to scare easily, so I usually just enjoy the peacefulness of the night and the beauty of the starlit sky. It was a particularly quiet night, and I decided to do a final patrol on one of the trails near the fire watchtower before heading up for the night. I opted to walk instead of driving, as the trail was relatively short and I enjoyed the tranquility of being on foot in the wilderness. Listen, I know we're building up to some kind of creepy encounter right now, but all I can think of is how jealous I am. You get paid to go on hikes in the woods. How do I get here? Do you want to trade? Want to trade jobs? Like, you can read people's horror story emails and I'll get paid to take walks in the woods. Like, we'll swap. We can swap back and forth like every other week or something. That'd be great. It would be lovely. You have my email. Hit me up. As I made my way along the trail, I noticed a chill in the air, despite it being a warm summer night. The forest around me seemed unusually still, with not even the slightest rustle of leaves or chirps of crickets. I felt like I was walking through a silent, abandoned world. Oh no, here we go. Here we go. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of something moving among the trees. My heart skipped a beat as I instinctively reached for my flashlight. I cautiously approached the area where I had seen the movement, scanning the shadows with my beam of light. That's when I saw it. A figure, translucent and ethereal, standing among the trees. Alright, what is this? What is this? The last story we had, someone described what they saw as translucent, and I was like, oh, no one ever describes anything as translucent. And then here we are, the very next letter. It was translucent. Thanks, guys. Did you two coordinate this? I feel like you must have. I feel like you must have done. You two know each other, don't you? You're like, ha ha ha, let's go mess with Horrormancer. I see you. I see you. My breath caught in my throat as I stared in disbelief. It seemed to flicker and waver, like a mirage in the moonlight. I like that phrase, mirage in the moonlight. I'm going to steal that and use it in something. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Was it a trick of the light? A figment of my imagination? I stood frozen in place, unsure of what to do next. Should I approach it? Run away? Or simply stand there and watch? In the end, I chose to back slowly away, keeping my eyes locked on the ghostly figure until it disappeared into the darkness. As I made my way back to the fire watchtower, my mind raced with questions and uncertainties. What had I just witnessed? And what did it mean for the park and its visitors? Yeah, I'd be pretty concerned too. I'd also be really interested to know, like, if there were any local legends or anything like that in the area that might, explain what you had seen. Most places, especially national parks, stuff like that, they tend to have some kind of lore, some kind of urban legend, some kind of local lore going on because of stuff like this. And so I'd be very interested to know if that's a thing. After witnessing the ghostly figure on the trail, I quickly made my way back to the fire watchtower. Once inside, I immediately radioed the other towers to inform them of what I had seen. Hey, this is Laughing Lynx up at Fire Watchtower 3. I spoke into the radio, trying to keep my voice steady despite the lingering unease from the encounter. I just had a strange sighting on Redwood Trail. I saw a ghostly figure among the trees. It was translucent and seemed to vanish into thin air. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the radio before I heard a response from one of the other rangers. Copy that, Laughing Lynx. We'll keep an eye out for anything unusual on our end. Stay safe up there. Wait. Hold on. So you get to the watchtower, you climb up the watchtower, you get on the radio to radio all of the other watchtowers, and you're like, hey guys, I just saw a fucking ghost. I saw a ghost. It was translucent. It vanished right in front of me. Little weirded out. And the reply back that you get is just silence. Copy that, Laughing Lynx. We'll keep an eye out for anything unusual on our end. Stay safe up there. Like, I would have been so insulted. Maybe they know there's an apparition there, and maybe that's what the silence was. Maybe the silence was like, oh, it's happened again. Shit. I don't know, but I think initially, my initial impression is I would definitely been so insulted. I'd thanked them and then sat back, trying to process what had just happened. I knew that sightings like these were rare and often dismissed as tricks of the light or overactive imaginations. But I was certain of what I had seen, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it was something more than just a figment of my imagination. As the night wore on, I kept a close watch on the forest below, half expecting the ghostly figure to reappear. But the rest of the night passed without incident, and by morning the encounter almost felt like a dream. But deep down, I knew it was all too real. Good! Don't gaslight yourself. Don't gaslight yourself. You know what you saw. You know what you saw. I haven't seen it again, but every now and then, just as dusk is falling and the forest gets unnaturally quiet, I find myself spinning around, searching the shadows to catch another glimpse. Well, I'm still very jealous. I am still so very jealous of your job. It sounds awesome. Again, I just want to know, You said that there were sightings like these. I think you mentioned. You said something about like sightings like these are rare and they're usually like an overactive imagination or something like that. What that tells me, what that indicates to me, is that you're not the only person who has seen something similar to that in like the local area or something like that. So, laughing links. I would be very interested to know if you have more lore. If there's lore to this place, feel free to send me another email. I would love to do an update. Get some more information out of you. Would absolutely love that. Holy hecking crap.